Hi, my name's Kathy Millett and this week we're looking at leaves. So what do I mean by leaves? I mean leaves are everywhere, aren't they? Well, over the years I've picked up an awful lot of different leaf products. Everything from sheets of leaves to loads and loads of individual leaves. And I thought I'd run through just a few of the ones I picked up and see what they look like. So I'm going to do a few bushes, each one using each of the different leaf makes and sizes, and just see what they all come out like, and then I can put them on my layout later. So I'm going to start off with just some plain leaves, and these are my favourite leaves. These are knock, and they come in a variety of colours. This is mittelgrün, which I presume is like mid-green, but I've got loads of different colours here. They're more middle green. They've got pale colours. This is very much a lime, very early in the summer type of colour. The middle green's my favourite because it lasts a lot of the year, but they've got a very, well, this is an olive, and it's quite a dark browny green, which is quite nice. And they do have a dark green as well, as you can see. So loads of varieties, and they come in this sort of size packet or these, and now I tend to buy them in these because they're easier to sprinkle in and keep hold of. So those are knock leaves, and I've got to say they're very easy to get in the UK. I like them, they're cheap, they're easy, they're a good scale size for HO scale, which is what I'm doing. I could use them in O probably, maybe a little large in N, but then a lot of things are a little large in N. So knock are one of my favourite, as you might have guessed, and certainly in the UK they're very easy to get hold of, and they have 4 colours, and I do love their middle green. Some other brands that I've got here. Well, if we're looking at just leaves, and I'll come on to some of the other different products in a second, this is the Little Leaf Company, and they've got these leaves that look like maple leaves. And just a subtle top tip, if you live near a silver bush tree, go and have a look. I picked this off the edge of a pavement when I was walking around I think it was on the way into Knoll, see, with a serviette in my hand. Actually, I went to the restaurant of an evening, saw them on the way in, took a serviette home with me and picked them up on the way out. And these come up as little sort of leaves, and these are free, but you do have to sieve them and sort them out. So you might prefer to buy them in packets ready dyed. They're great. They always come in a dead colour when you see them in reality, but they're great if they're dyed up. So those are very simple, and they're made from silver birch. I think it's the catkin seeds. They're a little large for HO. They would do perhaps for a big maple leaf, but perhaps a little large. But the Little Leaf Company also do some other products, and they have paper pressed leaves, which are really quite beautiful. And they do them in 2 sizes, light green, mid-green, dark green, and they do them in fine and sort of not fine. And we'll just have a look what they look like. I really like these because they're fine, but they clump together a little when you're sprinkling them on, so they are quite hard to apply compared to the knock leaves that are just a little bit fatter and more free-flowing. So next up in the leaf category, and I'm going to put it on a tree, is the Super Leaf from Scenic Express. Now, I've never actually seen these in the UK, and I picked these up in the US when I was over there, so I suspect they're a lot more popular in the US. So again, these are more of a papery material than the knock, but they crumble in a nice way compared to the Little Leaf ones, that are a little bit more sort of sticky to each other. These are nice leaves, nice and fine, easier to use than Little Leaf Company, and overall a very nice product. Okay, next up, Tremendous. Now these are a UK brand, and the guy does beautiful trees, so I've bought quite a few of his over the years, and they're kind of a mix. They're not the paper, and they're not as big as knock. They're a different product, but they are nice and fine, and I think you can get a very different effect with them. And he has a number of different sort of sizes of leaf, but they're not flat. They're definitely got a shape to them, and they have some different colours. You know, if you just did knock, all your trees will look the same colour, which if you're doing a hillside of the same tree is perfect. But if you want to do a variety of trees, doing something perhaps more man-made where they've planted trees, you definitely do need more variety. Now these leaves are beautiful for N scale, and they core easily, unlike some of the ones that are paper products. They're actually made from cork, and they just have a much nicer feel to them. But they can add variety to HO too, for some of those smaller leafed trees and bushes. Marching through, so we're now on to Selkirk leaves. And Selkirk, to my mind, are very like the little leaf. The leaves themselves are just slightly more defined, and you get them in multiple sizes. So there's fine leaf and there's standard leaf. And this is just like the little leaf. It's clumps a bit more than the tremendous, though it's a different material, so it's a lot of this papery material which does clump a lot, and you just need to unclump a little bit when doing it. The Selkirk leaves are papery, and so they're very fine, but actually the standard size to me is O scale, it's not HO, and they have a nice result, but just slightly difficult to apply. I've got the miniature, and you can get other types like this, and they come with little nets. So I've got some oak, some weeping willow, some plane tree, maple, and it has beautiful little leaves in it, and it's on a foliage net. So actually, in this instance, you don't seem to get very much, but it will pull a long way, and you tease it out. This is why I'm doing it over something, and you put it onto your tree, and a few of the leaves will come off as you do that. But it's a useful way of adding leaves on. So I can't say that I'm a huge fan of the foliage nets, and I've bought these ones, and you can see already quite a few of the leaves have come off on here, and I'm left with this net, which doesn't to me look like anything particularly that goes over a tree. But I appreciate the type and the effort you can go into with it. So overall, I bought these, and I've never actually used them, because every time I try and stretch them out, I end up putting my leaves back in going, oh yeah, well, they look beautiful, but I haven't quite nailed them. So if you've nailed these, please do write in and tell me, as I'm sure you will, how you actually managed to stretch them out over a tree to get them to look good. Because these are quite delicate armatures, they're just natural plants, and they'll crack and break if you try and use them. These are quite tough, and I'm sure you can do it. I just haven't yet. But Miniature do loads of other products. I'm just using that kind of example of a foliage net. Now I do have Hecki, and I am just going to cheat a bit here, and I've got a Hecki one already open that I've used, and this is another type of foliage netting, and actually I do like this netting. This one's Mittelgrün. This is Mittelgrün, so it's this colour. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the net versus what it looks like if you spray it yourself and put it over. So these are the loose leaves in that same colour. And Hecki's a German make, I presume, and it's easily available in the UK and Europe. Like all these products I've been showing, you can probably get them in any specialist provider. So we've got the Hecki ones, and these are very easy flowing, and they can just sort of pop out. This is their it's a different shape to all the rest. It's quite a sort of long, thin shape. So that's Hecki the leaves, but you can also get them as a foliage mat, which is what I've got here. And I found this foliage mat very easy to use. So I'm just going to show you basically how I used it. Really, kitchens are not the place to do spray glue. Let's make that clear. I won't be doing it in here except for this one video. And what I do is I get this mat and I stretch it and stretch it out. I'm doing it over this because loads of leaves do fall off. And you pull it out. I don't think there's a right or a wrong side ever. And you put it over your tree like this, you see. Oops. And then your tree falls over. This one's got a bit of a bend in it, so I'm only going to do it to part way. I'll try and, there we go. And I've used this just on banks of places where I'm doing bushes, and I literally just teased it apart and put it onto the bank. I did that on my effluent pipe area, I think, and I really liked it. It was very easy to do and very quick. And it tears in a nice sheet. Now the only thing I'll say is you do lose a lot of these leaves when you tease this out, and quite a lot of them get left in the packet, and I probably would, if I was buying this, just sprinkle them back on again. So these have a really distinctive shape, almost like a chamomile tea leaf, but you know, I do like them. Again, it's variety, and that's what we're looking to inject into our trees and leaves. And that's it. That's a whistle stop to a few of the brands of leaves that I have on the side. And I will use them all in different places depending on what I'm trying to do. Obviously, each bush or tree that you're trying to emulate, you'll go and look at a real life and you'll choose a colour that's similar or a leaf that's similar. If you want identical though, and you're doing a larger scale, I've shown these before and they're beautiful, but I would never pay to do a whole tree in them. So these are model scene realistic leaves, and these are 1 to 32, 1 to 35 leaves, and there's maple leaves, and there's oak leaves, dried oak, and then these are dried lime leaves, and they are beyond beautiful. They even have veins on them. They're absolutely gorgeous, and some of these are 1 to 48 and some of them are 1 to 35. They cost quite a bit for a small packet. I would use them on the ground in a diorama of a large scale. I wouldn't use them on a tree in HO or O. But just to say, if you're just looking for 1 or 2 exquisite leaves, leaves are models too, and you won't do better than some laser cut. These are model scene, there are other brands, laser cut leaves, and you know, just think about where you use them. Is it wrong to drool over leaves? These are absolutely gorgeous. Pricey, but gorgeous. Well, that's my tour of leaves, how to add perhaps a bit of variety to your layouts. If you have any other brands that you use, please put them in the comments below, because it'd be great to see what else other people are using.